Hey everyone, welcome to Old Iron Garage and thank you for tuning in. So this evening we're going to pick up right where we left off in the last video, working on this Wisconsin Model A/B engine, and we are getting ready to we're getting ready to see if it will run on the fuel from the tank. We have a couple things to do before we do that, so let's just dive right in. There we go. Can you see okay?
I hope so.
Alrighty. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this fuel bowl off. It is seized, but I have sprayed it with some penetrating fluid. See if we can get this nut to spin. It moved a little bit. Yeah, need some bigger ones. Oh, wrong drawer. The jaws on that one just are not really long enough. Come on now. There we go. Now she's turning. She's tight. I can't turn it by hand. Alright, let's see if that's enough to get this bowl out. I do not want to drop this glass bowl. Last thing I'm going to do is break it. I'm also hoping that that cork gasket is still good. Look at all the debris in there. It's quite a bit. A lot of fine rust particulate and who knows what else that is. I don't know, but that's a good sized, that's more than a quarter sized pile, like a US quarter, like a coin, for those of you that may not be in the US. I'm just gonna clean this out with some brake cleaner and my finger. That'll be good enough for now. It'll be good enough for the girls we date. And I'm going to clean the outside a little bit, just so it the bowl doesn't look like it's dirty on the inside because it's dirty on the outside. I need a different rag, something a little cleaner. The bowl is not clean, but it's clean enough for now. Shot glass. Why not? This washer is not actually supposed to be there. I'm going to see if I can Let me get this freed up a little bit better. get it to where it's turning by hand real nicely. There we go, that's better than it was, a lot better than it was. So yeah, that washer's not actually supposed to be there. It could be that this is not fitting right and they put that in there as a spacer, make it fit properly. I do not know why that's there, but I'm going to try to put this back without it. I always try to put things back how they should be, even if that's not how I found it. I think I found why it's like that. My suspicions were correct. That thing is, I think this steel wire around here is misshapen, allowing this thing to run out of threads before it truly gets it tight enough. So, back in the washer goes. It's going to go right back in there for now, and I'll see if I can fix this properly later on, get it set how it's supposed to be. Oh, don't drop that. Come on now. Let's not fight it. Let's not fight each other. Let's not make things difficult. Just get it put together now. Come on. Adjust. Need to give this thing some oil or something. Just make sure it's good and snug. I do not want it to leak. Alright, we're going to close this petcock for now. And we're going to take this fuel line over here loose. No. What size are you? 1/2 inch? No. 9/16? Yes. Now I've already sprayed some penetrating oil on here, so yep, there it is. Came loose nice and easy. That is mighty loose in that fuel bowl, but that's okay. I want to see what the fuel looks like coming out of this fuel line before I let it go into the carburetor. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to put some fuel in that fuel tank. It might be a mistake, but we're going to put some fuel in there. I got the fuel, I got the shut-off valve closed. And then I'll bring you guys back and I will open that fuel shutoff valve and we'll take a look at what's coming out. Alright, got about 1/4 of a tank to 1/3 of a tank, somewhere in there, of fuel. shining the light here so we can all see what this looks like. That looks like pretty clean. Going into the fuel shutoff valve. Gas coming out of the end of the fuel line looks just as clean. That looks good. We do have a little bit of leak around the sediment bowl. Man, the line is loose. The bowl is loose. We're gonna have to use some fuel-rated sealers on all these fittings. So when I go through this fuel system, I'm gonna use some fuel-rated sealers on those. So let's reconnect to the carburetor. Then open that valve and see what leak, see how much the carburetor leaks. It'll probably leak some, I'm sure. I'm sure just about every spot on this fuel system is going to leak a little bit. Come on. Oh, that way. So let's give oh, it's really coming out of the, get that shut. It is really coming out of that fuel bowl as if we don't have a seal at all. Anything coming out of the carburetor? Not yet. By the way, I have not messed with any settings on this carburetor. I haven't messed with it at all, except to just see if the throttle and the choke are frozen. That's all I've checked on there. But this is literally pouring out like a faucet. So we're going to have to address that. Might have to just skip that sediment bowl and plumb this a different way. Or plumb a temporary fuel line or something. I don't know for sure yet. Might have to just figure something else out. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to try to... That bowl might not be setting quite right where it was before. Might be off just a little bit on that gasket in there. So let me try to fix that and then I'll bring you guys back. Alright, so I messed with it a little bit. And the best I can do is I got the leak to slow down some. It's now more like drip, 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 drip instead of just pouring a steady stream. So I do have this measuring cup down here, and I have a grease rag in it to kind of catch and soak up the gas that falls. I let it run long enough that I know that it filled the bowl, because now it is seeping very slowly. The outside of the bowl is getting wet, so I know the bowl is filled. And just to ensure the float was not stuck, I, was tapping on the carburetor, tapping on the fuel bowl and stuff, to just in case it was stuck. That jarring it can kind of sometimes loosen it and make it drop and open up. So, and now I see that it's slowly getting wet on the outside, so I know the fuel bowl is filled. I have concerns about a massive vacuum leak. In the last video I stated that I see at the top center of the flange of the carburetor there's a sizable gap, and if you watched the first video you'll also know that I had mentioned that the oil bath air filter was sitting like this. So I believe that this had taken a hit at some point in time and kind of cocked the air filter funny on the carburetor, and also it appears to have bent the carburetor a little bit at the flange because the carburetor is slightly going downhill, and appears to be a gap at the flange in the gasket surface at the top. So I don't expect this thing to run well or to stay running at all. We will have to, it might only run choked. It might not run at all. I have no idea what this is going to do, but we're going to give it a go. I'm going to leave that fuel shut-off valve closed for now. Somebody say a prayer for me with this open flywheel. And we're going to just give this a go and see what happens. Alright, that's all we're going to run it for right now. I don't want to get it hot. I'll run it a little bit longer than that, but I do not want to get it hot. I do not have the flywheel shroud on here, and if you watch the last video, you'll know why. It is damaged. It's all bashed in at the bottom, and the flywheel, the fins on the flywheel are hitting it. So it's going to take me a little time to get it massaged out with a hammer. So I'm not going to put it on right now. I am willing to run it a little bit longer, but first I have to close the overhead door right there because it is late at night. It's actually in the wee early morning hours, probably around 2 in the morning right now, and there's houses out there. We live just inside the edge of town, and I don't want to make a whole lot of noise. So yeah, I don't want to upset anyone or get the cops called out here. So I'm going to go close that door, and I'll be right back. Alright, so the door is closed. I was ready to fire it up again until I remembered, okay, this seems to be like a nice running engine, good strong running engine. So I actually want to bring it up just up to where I can feel that the oil down here is warmed up. I can feel it in the crankcase, and I want to change that oil. So I want to get this thing good and cleaned out. So I'm going to put some Berryman B12 in here. I'm going to put it in both the crankcase and the gearbox. The gearbox for the gear reduction. I'll put a nice healthy dose in because I'm not going to run it long anyways. So, and it's not going to see any load. It's just going to be idling. So, got some in there. Not going to make it real tight because I'm going to be doing an oil change. So, open this back up and we'll pour some in here too. Oh, that does fit better than I thought it would. That'll actually thread in just a little bit. That's a nice thing about these plastic funnels nowadays. If it just barely fits into the threads, you can kind of push down and thread it in. Whoa! What the heck? You know, maybe I should have, a lot of that just came right out. Did not think about that happening like that, so I'm going to take this out and try it again. I tell you what, guys, this stuff really cleans it out. Alrighty, we're already to the point where it's just barely coming out. So some of that definitely did make it in there, but some of it came out because of no vent. The funnel is in the vent hole. So, alrighty. We're just going to snug this. We're not going to make it real tight. We're just going to make it good and snug. That's good enough. And we'll throw the rest in the fuel. Why not? Alrighty, let's fire this thing up. This does not have a muffler. Oop, gotta get this out of there. I had it tipped so that it would allow me to overfill when putting that fluid in. There. Let's put this back here where it was. Catch any fuel, because I am going to have to open that fuel petcock. I'm only just going to barely crack it. That should be enough. Alright, let's choke open or closed. It's open, let's fire it up. What was that? Alrighty. Yeah. So in the last video, if you see a lot of smoke coming off here, you can only see a fraction of what's really coming off of here in the video. I'm looking at the screen right now. That's because I had previously sprayed, before even starting the first video, I went and sprayed a lot of hardware with penetrating fluid, penetrating oil, and yeah, that's all that stuff burning off. So when I shut it off, well, okay, if you watch the first video, I'm sorry, I go down rabbit holes sometimes, I get sidetracked. You'll know that I noticed that somebody had siliconed the head gasket with blue RTV. Right as I shut it off, a little piece came flying right at the last put. A little piece came flying off and landed right on my shirt. That's funny. Alright, so yeah, I got the, I actually shut off the fuel valve, the shut-off valve, before I started, I pushed play again, started recording again. So, there's just a little bit of heat in this crankcase, and that's good enough for me. I'm sure all the oil got good and mixed, so now is the time to drain the oil. So, I'm going to clean this out first. There's some bugs in here. So, I'm going to pause the video again. I'll clean this out and I'll bring you guys back for when it's time to drain the oil. Alright, I'm back. So the reason why I wanted to clean the bugs out of here was because the oil I catch coming out of small engines, I do an oil change. Sometimes I save it. If it doesn't look like there's any metal shavings, or if it doesn't look silver, like there's fine metal particulate in there, I will save it and put it in a jug that I have down here, an old oil jug, so that engines like this that are questionable, I can use that for topping them off and don't have to put good oil in them to top them off if they are low. So, let's get this, let's clean up around the drain plug so I don't get dirt in here for the reasons I just stated. I don't want dirt in this oil because I don't want to put dirt and grit into another engine that could be a good engine. There we go. All right, let's drain this oil. Seems like I got a water droplet in there somehow. There, that took care of that. Let's just wipe it out the rest of the way, make sure there's nothing else in there. All right, good to go. Come on now. Back on there. Hopefully this does not make a mess. I've got this bucket here, this blue bucket, sitting on a stool. On a stool down here. You can see the bucket right there. And let's just go ahead and take this one out so we know that it I don't think this is completely necessary. I think we got the majority of it out. I don't think there's a vacuum holding it in. Oh, there was. Glug, 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 glug. There we go. Ooh, we got some orange. I see some orange. What is that? In the oil fill hole, I can see some orange floating on top. Did this have some water in it, maybe? What in the world? Oh, there comes a chunk. Yeah, there's orange streaks coming out. What is that? Holy cow. I tried to get some on my finger to show you, and I don't know what that is. Doesn't look like water. I don't believe I'm going to be saving this oil to put into it to top another engine off with. That does not look good. I might be doing 2 oil changes in this. If it runs well enough after I go through the fuel system and address some other issues, then I think we'll be doing a second oil change, which kind of sucks because this thing holds a lot of oil. Anyways, I'm gonna let this drain for a little while. I'll bring you guys back afterwards, probably after I've also got the gear reduction drained and I have both ready to fill. So I'll bring you back in a bit. Alrighty, I am back. I have the, come on, I'm trying to steady the camera for you guys. I have the engine oil and the gear reduction oil drained. There was a good deal in both. This container is full up to about here. That's quite a bit. For a small engine, that's quite a bit. I did figure out what the orange stuff coming out was. I totally forgot about this, but the I believe the inside of Wisconsin engines, they put the inside of the crankcase, they put this like orangish, brownish orangish colored paint to coat the inside of the crankcase. oil will not dissolve it, but some solvents will. And I think that Berryman B12 ate some of that off of there. I think that's what that was. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run that through like a coffee filter or something so it catches the chunks that came out. And I am going to use that to top off questionable small engines, because I'm not going to run it very long on that stuff anyways, just long enough to get the carburetor tuned, to get the oil nice and warm so I can drain it and do an oil change if the engine runs well enough that it's worth an oil change. But I think the next thing I'm going to do before I add oil, while I've got this side of the engine facing me, is I'm going to see if I can take this adapter off, and I see it wiggling, so I think it should slide right off. There's a set screw here. I do believe this is somebody's homemade adapter. There we go. What do you know? Maybe it's not a homemade adapter. Maybe this was made to fit this. I don't know. I really have no idea. But there's the outside cover here. It's kind of recessed and cup shaped. And it fits this end perfectly. But anyways, I'm not going to get rid of this. This is going to go with the engine if I'm able to sell it. I'm just going to set this off to the side. But that'll kind of reduce some of the bulkiness of this engine, not having that stick way out like that. And that will help a little bit. So, now that that's off, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video again while I get that oil. Well, no, I will do that at a later time. I'm going to set it off to the side. I just have to be careful not to dump this bucket, not to knock it over. Remind me that that's there, and not to knock it over. So, first thing, so I don't forget it, first thing I'm going to do is fill the gear reduction. I do have to go get the oil yet. I don't have the oil over here yet, so I do have to do that. Will this thread into here? I think it did. Yeah, it did earlier. The threads just bite into that plastic. There we go. It does fit. Now we got to get this one out on the side. To drain this, I forgot to tell you, I was going to tell you this, to drain this oil, I actually had to tip the engine because, well, I had to build a wooden skid to set this on, because the gear reduction box, the housing, sits lower than the oil pan of the engine by, I don't know, 1.5 inches or so. So, if I did not have a skid built to put this on, the engine would be setting like that. Would not be setting straight. And I'm just going to go ahead and take the fill hole plug for the engine crankcase back out. And I'm going to go get some oil. Alright, I'm back. I got some oil, but I decided to do something else. So I really wanted a muffler on here, so I went searching in my stash of engines that I haven't touched yet. I found this. This came off an engine that looks like it was in a Sears. It was a Tecumseh 10 or 12 horse. So HH100 or HH120, and it appears like, according to the colors, it looks like it was in a Sears tractor. Unfortunately, I could not get the muffler off of this pipe without ruining the muffler. So I think the only thing I would have accomplished was ruin the muffler. So I took the pipe out of the block. Then I was able to. It took a lot to do that, by the way. This was really stuck. I was worried about breaking the casting of that exhaust port, but I knew very well I did not need that engine for anything. So I was like, well, I'll risk it, because I don't really have any new mufflers here, or any loose mufflers here that would fit here. And I had to use my biggest pipe wrench, my 36-inch long, my 3-foot long pipe wrench, and I had to lean some serious body weight on it. And if you've seen me in some of my videos, I got some body weight. Well, anyway, and this took some doing too, but it wasn't as hard to get this out. I did get that loose. So we have a muffler to go in here. But right now, I'm just going to focus on getting oil in here first. So start with this. And I'm going to get the fill plug ready to go in. And that was a little over 20 ounces. Oh, and perfect. It was probably about 22 ounces. Looked like it was maybe about 2 ounces over the 20 ounce mark. And it's just starting to seep out that hole. The fill, like the hole where it comes out when it's full. So we'll get this closed up. I'm going to go ahead and get this into the engine oil fill hole. Get the breather back in the fill hole. There we are. So, I knew it would take more than one measuring cup. So I filled another measuring cup. This one holds up to 36 ounces, but it looks like I filled it to about 34 ounces. So let's get this one in. Oh, we're spilling some. It's running right down the side of the funnel. I do need to get this plug handy. Pouring kind of fast so I don't lose so much down the side. I'm trying to scrape it off into the funnel. I need to get some better funnels, some funnels that don't do this. Yeah, we're nowhere near full yet. I imagine we're probably going to take more than this 34 ounces of oil. Nope, it's full. 2, 1, and boom. So it was probably about 30, 32 ounces that this takes. We are full. All right. I had just about the right amount, just a little bit more than what was needed. Probably by about 2 to 4 ounces more. Perfect. It's almost like I planned that. I did not plan that, but it's almost like I did. I just kind of looked at what size measuring cups I had and just kind of guesstimated based off of like, this one and this one. So we're going to set these like this and let one drain into the other to get some of my oil back. Set these way back here out of the way. Move a bunch of stuff. Alright, well now let's turn our attention back to the exhaust. Looks like somebody welded here at some point in time. Pretty ugly weld. I wish this exhaust didn't have to be so long, didn't have to stick out as far, but hey, it's what we got, and I am not going to complain. Any muffler is going to be better than no muffler. So, let me grab a pipe wrench. "18" should be more than enough. Just need it tight enough that I need to get it to a direction that I want it to be. There. I want it pointed kind of that way, because remember the engine's going to flip around. It's going to spin around the other way, so we point it out this way and slightly downward so rain does not go into it. Let's go a little bit more downward. There we go. So if this is outside at some point in time, with this exhaust on it as it is, we will not get rainwater in it. All right, well let's run it again. Actually, no, I want to be able to run it longer this time. So I'm gonna pause the video and I'm gonna pause the video. And I'm going to massage that flywheel cover with a hammer. For now, I'm just going to worry about down here. I'm not going to worry about up top and the info tag. I'm just going to take care of this. I'm not even going to get it perfect. I'm just going to get it to where it's not going to touch the flywheel. Hopefully. So, all right. I'll bring you guys back once I have this hammered out a little bit and back on the engine. Alrighty, so as you can see, I got the cover back on. And we now have a muffler. The oil is changed in both the engine and the gear reduction. So I was turning it over slowly, and I didn't want the thing to fire and kick all of a sudden, so I took the spark plug wire off of the spark plug. I used a ball peen hammer and one very large punch. I want to show this to you guys. I made this in shop class in high school. I found a piece of, I don't know, what is that, 1-inch bar stock steel lying around the shop. and I told my shop teacher, hey, I'd like to turn that into a punch. So I came in during another class when I had downtime. I didn't have my homework and whatnot was done, and I got a pass to go to the shop. And the shop teacher and I, we stood there and watched while I put this thing in the lathe, and I put that taper on there, and then we put a knurled grip on there, and then we put it in this, what do you call it? It has a fire in it, and it gets your steel really hot, so you can like hammer it or forge it or whatever. It took forever. We got this thing glowing red hot, and we dunked it, cool it down fast to heat treat it. So this is hardened, and it's not quite hardened enough. We couldn't quite get it hot enough, but it was hot, and it is hardened. And this has been very useful over the years. Unfortunately, that shop teacher, actually both shop teachers of mine, one of them was a small engine class and some other various shop classes, and the other one was a welding shop teacher and a few other classes. Both of them have passed away now years ago. Rest in peace. But anyways, I look at this, and every time I look at this or use it, it's a fond memory of Mr. Davis. So anyways, I'm going to put this away so it doesn't move around on the bench when this engine's running. And let's fire this thing up, and I'm going to let it run for a good while. So I'm going to get this cup under here to catch the gas. I'm going to just barely open this fuel shut-off valve. There we go. A little bit more. What in the... Do we have debris in there now? We did have a little bit. It's not leaking out of the bowl anymore. That's weird. Well, we'll just open it all the way. I guess if it starts pouring out, I'll close it most of the way. But yeah, let's fire this thing up. I'm not even going to choke it. We'll just see if it'll pop off. Not very nice. Started going faster than the gun was. It didn't do that earlier. That's strange. Well, we'll try it again once, see what happens. Eee! It's rubbing somewhere. I don't want to rub a hole through. Otherwise, I'd say let's just let it self-clearance, but I think it's right here. I don't hear it rubbing anymore. Maybe over here too. All right, let's try it again. Oh, I had it choked still, my bad. I choked it to kill it. Come on now. Probably flooded now. Are we out of gas or something? Is the float stuck? I'm waiting to see if that starts dripping. I guess I'm going to check the fuel level. I say, ain't no way we leaked enough gas for this thing to be out. I know we have spark unless we just lost it. We'll try it again. There we go. It was just flooded. That sounds a lot better with a muffler. Oh, there is a massive vacuum leak there, because I just put my hand on the carburetor to stop it and shut the engine off. And I seen, as it was slowing down, I seen some fuel squirt up out of that the top of the carburetor flange where it bolts to the engine, where I said I could see a gap. It just shot right up out of there. But for having that gap, this thing runs pretty darn good at an idle. But anyway, I think I'm going to conclude this video here. I'm going to let it run a while more off camera, after we conclude this video. But yeah, I am going to address, I'm going to go through the carburetor, and I'm going to plane that sand and plane that that flange on the carburetor, and see if I can come up with a carb kit for this old carburetor. I think, what is this, a Marvel Shebler, or however you pronounce that. I think that's what this is. It's too grimy to tell. Oh, wait, yep. Marvel. We leaking? I'm going to shut this off anyway. How do you pronounce that? Marvel Shebler. This is Marvel Shebler VH 14. Anywho's, sorry, it went down a rabbit hole. I'm going to try to come up with a carb kit for that, and maybe see if I can find or make a gasket for this fuel bowl, the sediment bowl. But anyways, yeah, I am quite pleased with this right now. I did not think that this thing would run so well, especially after seeing what I seen on the head. There's actually a small chunk piece of... Sorry about that. So I had forgotten to plug my phone into a charger, and my phone died. As I was saying, I noticed on the head, before I ever even tried to start it, or check for compression or anything. When I took the spark plug out, there was a chunk about yay big of cast aluminum missing where the spark plug seals. I'm looking at it right now, and I can see the top 2 threads of the spark plug. Somehow this thing still seals well enough to make good compression. I am going to search for a better head in my Wisconsin Parts engines. I do believe I have found one. So, and I will try that in a later video. See if it is the correct head, to see if it fits, and I will worry about that at a later time. But this engine does run well, so at this point in time I am going to be searching for a carburetor kit and a few other things. I'm going to clean it up, probably give it a good spray with degreaser, give it a good scrub, power wash it, yada da da da. You know, just kind of go through the whole thing. But anyway, yeah, that concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Have you owned one of these Wisconsin engines? This is a Wisconsin Model AB. Have you owned one? Have you worked on one? If you like the kind of content you see on this channel, and you have not yet already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Later.